All right, this is it. What's my hair doing? It doesn't matter. It's a podcast. Check one, check two. This is it. We're doing it. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour with your host, me, Rob Cantrell, coming to you again, live and direct. All you internet freaks, weed smokers, tunes be listening to tunes, breathing the air, smelling the outside clean air. You got your fresh underwear, clean and smelling good air, wearing fresh, clean underwear. Here at the Cannabis Coffee Hour. Welcome, 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 one and all. We have a great episode. I'm excited to talk to you. I got a big fat cup of Java. This bean is called Java Nation. I got this bag somewhere on Long Island, Bridgehampton, New York. I think that's the Hamptons. I went up there to Long Island. That place was crazy, but it's nice. It's good. It's its own vibe, man. But I did grab some beans, and I was just there one night for Mother's Day, doing the thing with the fam, and then coming back into the city. But I did grab a fat bag of beans, Java Nation. I grab coffee beans wherever I go now because of the podcast. I go through maybe a bag a week, bag or two, like a bag and a half is kind of where I'm at. And, you know, if I get an eighth, I burn it like in 2 weeks. It's around like that, or a week and a half. But if I'm doing the podcast or going out a lot, I can burn through more herb. But I just wanted to get on here and talk it out a little bit with you guys and just spread good vibes. This coffee's amazing. This is the end of the French press, and I just have this big, huge cup. This is my big Brooklyn cup for all the viewers. You can check us out on the Patreon Rob Cantrell Coffee, so you can watch me actually smoke pot and drink coffee, or listen to me for free on Spotify or iTunes. But if you're on iTunes, like and subscribe right now. Just write something. Yo, this dude is a trip. Well, I'm not gonna tell you what to write because that's fucking cheesy. You can't force shit. I could just do a good show, but I am allowed to remind you now and then because the shit's free. But if you want the Patreon's blowing up, and I'm getting new merch. Everything's coming together slowly but surely. Java Nation. There's something about that afternoon cup. Like, you forgot about coffee for a while, and then it's like that last cup before dinner, because you can't do it at like 5:30. That's when you kind of running really close to dinner. And then you don't eat dinner, or you have to take a dump right before dinner. That throws all the system off. But no, I've been out and about. Went to the park today. It's beautiful out in Brooklyn, New York. The park literally looks like heaven. Everybody is getting vaccinated. Nature is growing out. I see job signs in windows. These are the vibes. We're all picking up. Now, you can watch the news. Everybody's like, oh, did you hear this? Did you see this? Did you get on your Twitter feed and you heard about this shit? You can do that. But a lot of that, it's all really geared to hype you up. So I think we're all kind of figuring that out, or everybody's got that figured out. But you still like to know what's going on. It's nice to be in tune a little bit in case a pandemic breaks out. But the numbers for here, my heart goes out to India, because I do believe we're all connected, and I don't like seeing, like, I just think eventually we're going to get some of that spill off. Like, there's no way around it. This thing's organic. It's not like a mechanism. It's the same thing with surfing. Like, as a sport, you can do everything right and set it up perfectly, but it doesn't mean like it's going to hit automatically, or if we vaccinate this many people, we will be done, or we will be done on date. this. When things work at a natural pace, it's going to happen when it's going to happen, and there's no definite timeline. That's just the manifestation. That's me going way deep in meditation. I've been meditating like a motherfucker. I'm a motherfucking meditating machine. I dig it. I don't do it enough, but when I do it, I pop off less. I lose my temper. And the older I get, I don't know if it's the quarantine. Like I get to these very good levels of Zen, and then I'll just lose it off of something minute. But it's just like, I don't know, life has that funny way of fucking with you like that. Right when you think you have it all figured out, you know. That's why I try to never have it all figured out. And I'm really trying to emptying my mind and letting reality reflect back to me, and go through life that way, like be an observer instead of an instigator. Like observe, just things open up, the world opens up, and you don't have to force it as much. That's just the shit I'm learning as a guy that's spastic, with lots of dreams and ambition, and also conflicting spiritual feelings towards fame and recognition and art. But yeah, I love doing art. I love creating. I love doing comedy. I love this life. It's hard. You don't know what's going to happen next a lot of the time. But even the more corporate jobs, the more like that's just a part of life. Like I've seen people have the most set up situation and it can all go buckwheat, meaning it could all go off the Richters. It can all go wrong. Not that buckwheat was wrong. I just always like, instead of saying buck wild, I always like to throw in buckwheat. Buckwheat was one of the Little Rascals, great Eddie Murphy character, and it sounds like a curse word, but it's not. It's actually, buckwheat is a breakfast cereal, very close to grits. I used to eat instant grits every morning. So I've gone through oatmeal phases. I've gone through grit phases. I've gone through egg phases. I'm still with my banana, peanut butter, turmeric, cinnamon, oat milk, if they have it. I'm just killing the oat milk. And a lot of the non-oat milk stuff that I do, it's not a vegan thing. I just really don't want kidney stones. Like in the more milky froth. I just remember talking to this dude that went to Amsterdam and he said he drank too many lattes and he got kidney stones. You know, because you're smoking, the thing about pot is, you know, you're going to dehydrate yourself. So you always got to stay hydrated. Speaking of that, I got a nice big fat glass of tap water. I'm talking lukewarm, but the glass isn't knocked over. Usually a glass of tap water is going to get knocked over if it's laying out more than an hour. So you got to drink it down. Oh man, that's some good Brooklyn tap. That will kill some fucking pesticides or whatever. Maybe it's got pesticides, but I don't know. It's good water. Good water. Love me some good water. I've been going with iodized water when I can, and then it's but then the water bottles bum you out. I was gone for, like I said, for that Long Island weekend, and I just, you know, you counted all the trash that's with you, and I just remember like one day I went through like 3 water bottles, and I'm not even a water freak. That's just me just getting by. I picked up a great new piece. My one hitter was just way too clogged in glass. I mean, I could clean it out. It was a gift from a friend. I just wanted my own piece, wanted something new, and I've been dreaming of like a really good one hitter. And if you're on the Patreon, this is the best thing I've ever. This is from Marley Collection, and it's called the Marley Taster, and it's wooden and glass. It's got a wooden mouthpiece and then glass, just pipe. And it's just called the Taster. Like if you're like doing the cannabis cup or the emerald cup, like if you really wanted to taste the cannabis, this is what it is. And then my friend I came back from Michigan and I had a great episode. Shout out to Louis Katz for doing the episode. That's like one of my older friends in comedy. Like I know Louis so well, and as we get older and busier and life goes on, I don't see him as much. And we all take our own like little turns, and he was like 10 years younger, but I knew him from the get-go, so I always felt like a little bit of an older brother to him. But he's got his gig. He doesn't need me. He's a great joke writer, great stand-up, does music videos. We're definitely in the same wheelhouse on a lot of the stuff. Doesn't smoke as much pot as I do, but definitely down to goof and a great hang. And anytime you get to see him, it's great. So shout out to Louis Katz. Check out all his stuff on Spotify. Shout out to Java Nation. I'm drinking Bubbles Brew. And shout out to Marley Pipes. They have this whole line. Marley Naturals is what they call it. But I would like to do some business with those guys. I don't know if they need the cannabis coffee podcast numbers, but we're going up. So I'm saying thank you to everybody. So I got this Marley Taster. It's fucking badass. It's probably one of my favorite pieces, but I try not to get too connected to pieces because I've been here before and they usually break down the line. So you almost learn a zen of being able to let go. But at the time, this is a great bomb piece, and I recommend it if you're a low key stoner like me, but also like good quality things. So yeah, I grounded up some, and this is outdoor grown California. This guy's trying to grow professionally in California, and I came back from Michigan. I had to make a couple calls to dudes. It's still that way in New York. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. I'm a very busy motherfucker, so I'm doing shit all the time. So I'm almost it's hard to have dudes when you're like in your 40s. Like I still got dudes. But that's cool. I'm always been down with dudes, meaning people that might have some herb that I can hit up for some herb. But you still got to do that hustle, which is odd, Even in Michigan, you can. I literally went to weed maps in my app. If you're ever in a town that is recreational, go to your app store. Weed Maps is a great map on your phone. You could just look whoever's has the best urban town and find them. Highly recommend it. It worked out for me. I like Yelp. I like Weed Maps. I like one hitters. But this is my friend gave me like a bunch, and it's really good. Like I could tell. I'm kind of a snob with it. This is outdoor California grow. Like whoever's trying to grow this is doing the real deal. Like it was funny in Michigan when I went to the dispensary and I specifically asked for outdoor grown cannabis, and the guy was like, "Man, well, we don't." He's still in hydroponic world. And hydroponic world was big in the '90s and big in the 2000s, and you're cushy and you're super high tech. All those crazy buds. But as we move into more legalized cannabis, I just think it tastes better when it's grown outside. It's just more of an earthy, less pesticide-y, less just funky. And it gives me all the ganja feelings I like. I also put some CBD flower, Delta 9 or Delta 8. That's what the newest CB. It's supposed to give you like clear headed, also good for your appetite. Man, this stuff is coming on strong in terms of legalization. I do think that the country just needs to just realize, just realize that we kind of live in a cannabis friendly environment anyway. And people that have been smoking, and you don't even know has been smoking for years and years and years. Jazz musicians have been doing this. Like, and the thing that I liked about jazz musicians is they don't wear the pot on their sleeves, but they also are down for the herb. Like they just know it's a part of the gig. And I think a lot of jazz is not about your ego. And I think it's a lot about removing your ego and listening to the music and wherever the music's going, whatever that means. You could say that with comedy, with art, with drawing, even with graffiti. Um, but there is a point where you feel it and you want to find it and you want to figure it out. Meaning, like if I go up and do a bit on a stand-up stage, I don't write out. Sometimes I've written out a full joke. In the beginning, I had to figure that out because you need laughs really fast, and the best way is just a setup punch. Boom, bip. So you learn that real quick. But what you also start to realize is that your better jokes come from a more natural tone, and that happens live on stage while you're figuring it out. I got a great haircut, but it doesn't look that good because I got big headphones. I'm not trying to get into my looks, but I'm trying to take the Patreon video a little bit better. We're going to get a backdrop green screen right now. I got some shadow puppets. Here's some rad fucking devil horns. Rock and roll, or it's I love you. You know how you do like the rock and roll sign with your hand? Well, the one with the thumb under, that could either be devil horns or it also can mean I love, I don't know, I think there's L in there somewhere, and you. And that was from the Funkadelic era, I believe. I know Ronnie James Dio and George Clinton both had devil horn type hand gestures that, you know, took the masses on in the 70s and 80s. But one meant I love you and one meant the devil. So, yeah, I like the coffee. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the days. I'm still working on the music project. I'm trying not to talk about something unless I got it done, but it's getting done. My new thing is trying to work for like 20 minutes straight. A lot of it's attention and focus. And what I've been doing is trying to be really, this is what I'm doing in my meditation. Be really kind to myself. It all begins with yourself. Be really kind to myself. Psych myself up. And then drop any type of manifestations, any judgments, any scenarios. Try to drop them or let them run out of my brain. And then focus for like 20 minutes on whether it's this song that I'm working in GarageBand on, or a script that I'm working in Final Draft on, or if it's stretching that I'm trying to do, or taxes, or all of these things. But what the lesson plan was, just do it for 20 minutes. Like, don't be like, I'm going to be writing all day. Just go, I'm writing for 20 minutes. Okay, I'm going to clean my socks, or I'm going to fucking pick my ears, or I'm going to brush my teeth really good. But try to do 20-minute increments on these projects, on these. The other things is things to do list. Make it the things I get to do list. That's how you turn it around. So I'm waking up and my things to do list is all shit that I really want to do. And I really want to do this podcast. I think about this podcast almost too much. And then I go, oh, I can't even think about it. I'm not making a ton of money off this podcast. I do need you to sign up to the Patreon. We have all these edgelord comedians that are making millions of dollars. And I know them all. I do stand up with all those guys, man. And I'm funny, just as funny as all those guys. No, everybody's got their own thing. And I'm just not good with, I never was a conspiracy dude, like Bigfoot or Godzilla. Like, I like them artistically. I like them. But in terms of like spending my day thinking about them, nah. I'm thinking about hip hop a lot. I'm thinking about beats. I'm thinking about movies. I'm thinking about comedy. And I'm thinking about food. And I'm thinking about nature. And I'm thinking about the space between myself and ego, and if I can get in there. But the only thing is, with all this like self-help and meditation, is like, you could build up an ego in that shit, and then you're that dude. And I don't want to be that dude. He doesn't. I want to be. It's all. That's the thing. It's all about being yourself. And you can't be more yourself than this podcast. I got a gray sweatshirt on. I got a gray backdrop. I got one simple glass, beautiful, but everything. That's how it is. Everything's getting better, but I'm liking what I like, and I'm zeroing it in. Like this is all I ever want. There is a bong that I really like that's called the Tobacco Master, and they only had it. This one company has it, but I'm eyeing them up. But they're not that big. I maybe the cannabis coffee out. I might come out with a bong, people. Um, but no, this Marley Naturals. This is a great piece. It has wooden. That's what I love when nature. It's wood and glass. Glass is trippy. Glass is kind of like the safest and best thing to smoke herb out of, as I've found over the years. I've had some really good wooden bowls. I've always liked wooden ones too, and apples are great. Apples get messy and you got to throw them away, but they are biodegradable, which that's probably the most economically friendly is probably smoking out of apples. But sometimes I think if you don't have filters, but I do love those raw filters on my joints. But joints are pretty like you burn it up to the core, that's pretty eco-friendly. I've been thinking about eco-friendly. I definitely believe in global warming, and that might be an angle I take on this fucking podcast is like because that's not that I mean the shit like you go to Alaska, you can see the side of a mountain melting off, and everybody there sees it going on. There's no if, ands, or buts. And yeah, I think that younger generations should get to enjoy life. I think life is a gift. I think it's amazing. The more I live it, the more I want to live it, the more I even let go of it, the more of I think of less myself. And then the idea of meditation is just enjoying life. And the more I could think of just like, I'm really chewing this apple or I'm really talking to this person. Um, but that's when it gets tricky with, entertainment because entertainment is the big distraction. Bro, it's almost 4:20. So I'm jamming on this coffee, Java Nation. Let me think. I've been doing some espressos. My hotel, they had this like, it was like one of those, they had little tiny espressos. I think you've seen it. I don't think they're that expensive or they're that crazy. This hotel wasn't that crazy. But did have like a Keurig machine, but it was like little espressos. So it had like this dark chocolate, and they came in these like little Keurigs that looked as big as a creamer that you would get like at a gas station. Those little creamers. I remember my mom would always get like 5 of those bad boys. Just those creamers everywhere. That's the most eco. Those plastic creamers. I always would go with 2. 1.5 is probably all you need, and bypass sugar. But that's how they got you with coffee. Like if you started drinking coffee, some people go into it because, I mean, if you put enough sugar and milk in your coffee, you can make that thing taste like a donut. And if you like donuts, guess what? You're going to love donuts with caffeine. Great cup. I'm finishing. I'm drinking the coffee too fast. That's the problem. So this is a little bit of cannabis and then a little bit of CBD. I don't do that all the time, but this is like really good herb, and I'm trying to make it last long. That's the only problem with the herb; it runs out. There, but there's so many great things environmentally. I think it's going the right, and then music wise, man. Okay, music wise, I'll tell you what I've been listening to. I think I may have been. I don't know. I think I talked about it before Louis and I got recording, but I think I talked to Louis about it. But music wise, I'm pumping up Buju Banton, Capleton, in Bounty Killer. Another one, Where You Come From by DJ Khaled. Man, that is a fucking summer jam. If you want to, I don't know, maybe it's cheesy, maybe it's already played out, but I can usually tell this is the new Old Town Road. Or even for me, sometimes I just get, sometimes it's weird, obscure punk songs that I'll just start listening to for like 3 days straight. But this, it hit me too, and it just has this great bass. I've never liked DJ Khaled, but some of, I mean, in terms of hip hop and in terms of like hood, like anthems, like he's put out some of the best, hip hop 90, 2000 anthems and had his hand in a lot of it. And the ones that sold big numbers. And I think Nicki Minaj, he had like something like I think he might have been, I don't know that world that much. To tell you the truth, like Nicki Minaj, DJ Khaled, I'm not ragging on you guys. If you guys want to do business, you want to do some rhymes. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying that was so mainstream. Those guys went so big and was so saturated in the market. And then, I'm a kid that grew up on KRS-One and, Run DMC. I still like it. And her flow is amazing. And the beat production and just the whole team, whatever it is. But DJ Khaled's fascinating. I never got into the Snapchat thing. I've been watching these old videos of him in Jamaica playing Bounty Killer, and he's all skinny, and he's just like this scrappy Florida DJ. That's what's kind of trippy about him. And he does know music, man. Because this is one of the better songs. I'm building this up because DJ Khaled, like this is one of probably the better songs I've heard in a long time. I don't know why it hits me. Where You Come From, maybe, but I tell you, who else I called, and I started listening to this, and then they broke out, and that was early on. Was that rapper from Kentucky? Yeah, what's what's that song? Yeah, what's crack? What does he say? What's happening? Brand new whip, just something. Yeah, I called that one early on. I know his name, but I could Google it. I'm so used to having Google, but I don't want to go into the Google machine. I got my pipe, I've got my weed. I don't want to look up that. Oh, Harlow. Yeah. So Harlow, the rapper, his name is Nick Harlow, or I don't forget. He's a rapper, Harlow. He's a good rapper. This kid can rap. And I saw videos of him when he was like young, like 7 or 8, and he's like freestyling and producing his own music in his bedroom. Like he was just bound. And now he's with DJ Drama and like all these names. Like Mike Dean, that's who I was trying to think of. Mike Dean was I was trying to talk to Louis Katz about. But Where You Come From by DJ Khaled, man, this song is like 3 of the dance hall greatest. Like I don't even know dance hall that good. I mean, I know reggae, like I pump up Bob Marley and all that like all day. Like I could play Bob Marley. I know all, I know Legend. Everybody knows Legend. That's like one of those songs like Bob Marley and Led Zeppelin and the Beatles. There's like 3 or 4 albums like you almost, and Rolling Stone, Grateful Dead, like you almost, I don't personally, I've absorbed so much that it'll never be the same. Except I did find Walk Proud. Bob Marley, Walk Proud, how it's produced. It's on that weird album that came out that was like a 4 CD thing. I remember when it came out, but it was like all these crazy deep dub plates, early recording demo type shit. But Walk Proud by Bob Marley, there's the bass on that. But DJ Khaled was DJing over in Jamaica. And so he just has a really good sense. I don't know, Jamaica just knows music. And they know reggae, especially, and then dance hall. So it feels like almost the equivalent of, the symphony by Marley Marl, hip hop Marley Marl, like four MCs just rocking a beat. This is like four dance hall legends just rocking over a ill, and like DJ Khaled, it's like an awesome reggae sample, but the bass on it's like, and I never really liked Miami bass, but that's what I kind of see with DJ Khaled. He's kind of fascinating. It's like dance hall reggae producer, just hobnob with the celebrity, type branding, super hustle. But there is some musicality that's like pretty sick. Like if you're fucking with Hunter, if you fucking with these like reggae dance hall legends, if they're looking you in the eye and like, dude, I'll do a song with you. I mean, he's got all the music is the thing. Like he's like signed with Universal. Like these videos feel like a feature film. So he has the end all budget. That's how I see it. But I think he's with Jay-Z, and then Jay-Z owns Tidal. But those guys do know fucking music, man. Motherfuckers better watch out, man. Tidal. No joke, because that song, Where You Come From, I haven't felt, I'm trying to think like the last time. Okay, these guys like Capleton, I don't know if I'm even like, I don't even know dancehall, but Capleton, his verse is insane. But he always was dope to me. If you're a hip hop head, there's certain dancehall reggae cats that go over like there's just legendary hip hop shit with them. And Capleton has a great method. The Capleton Method Man over the symphony beat. That song I got like 100 different times on CD, and I have remixes and dub plates of it. Like that thing. And it's just how he rap, speaks. Reggae and hip hop have always had this mad connection, because it all comes down to the South Bronx, and DJ Kool Herc is from Jamaica, man. So yeah, they just know good music, man. Just pump good beats, and eat great food. And what I like about Jamaica is very health conscious, like how they eat. And soccer, like Bob Marley has that great quote about like just living a family life and stretching and doing yoga and smoking herb and making music and hanging with your fam. Like that's the life, man. And Jamaica understands that shit, man. There's certain places that understand, that's the king, that's the motherfucker. That's what we're all striving for. Well, I don't know, everybody. That could be something else to somebody else, I don't know. What is it to you? What is it to me? Hit me up, man. Cannabis Coffee Hour IG. I'm gonna go hard on the Instagram. I think I'm gonna go. I need to figure out the voice of the Instagram of the Cannabis Coffee Hour. We're gonna have I should just take a lot. Should I just every time I'm drinking or smoking, I should maybe post a pic. But then it's whack. Social media's weird, it's vibes, you're playing with vibes out there. But it's also just a promotional tool. And the Cannabis Coffee Hour, I see more of like, a vibe. Like my perfect day is, let's say wake up 6:30, drink a glass of water with a slice of lemon, meditate. No, do my 5 Tibetan stretches with some low tempo music or nature, just hearing birds and shit because it's so early. That's nice. When you wake up so early, you just hear other shit. Okay, and do that. And then I do my 5 Tibetan stretches on a yoga mat that's clean and thick. Because your knees, man, your knees. I do think CBD cream, is just going to help people grow older. A lot of it, I think, is evolving. Like nature's showing us how to evolve into the future. We're learning what the human body is. We're learning what existence is. We're learning what feels good. and works with this amount of people floating or swimming. We're all swimming. We're all fucking swimming through the universe. Because oxygen and water, that's a whole trippy thing, man. This, I mean, it's such a droplet, it's such a breath of air existence here on the planet. Such an ego killer when you think about it all of it. And then you learn to let go of all that and just be like, yo, drink this pumpkin latte because it tastes fucking good right now. It's kind of chilly, kind of meets the mood, where the road hits the street and the street hits the road. That's what I need to do, is get out there and do some shows. I am doing something in the park on May 22nd. May 22nd. Look out for the Instagram post on that joint. I'm going to be doing a live comedy and I'm starting to itch for it. So I think it's good. It's just how I start to do it. I've been looking into some other outdoor rooftop shows. I'm just going to ease into it and figure that whole thing out. But I am buying my time and I'm getting stuff done, especially on this podcast. I haven't even hit up sponsors or anything like that. It's mostly just building the tone and the vibe. And I could do this all day. I could sit here and drink coffee and smoke weed out and talk about funky ass beats. Let's see what else I got on my Spotify. I hit them with a couple classics lately. I did it's just that one Led Zeppelin album. You gotta have that one, you know. It's just like, I don't know. Levee, when the levee breaks. I just needed that. You never turn that one off. Maybe you do. Sometimes you're like, oh, Everything's Right by Fish. It's just nice to have a little fish in your life. Talking about swimming out there and checking out some shows. Oh, Corner Shop, Candyman, I Ain't Hiding, The Black Crows, Chicago's Not Chicago, Soul Coughing, The Man and Me, Bob Dylan, Excursions, A Tribe Called Quest, Boilermaker by Royal Blood, Smoking Love by Stick Figure, Dirt by Fish, Apache by the Incredible Bongo Band, Walking for Your Love, Widespread Panic, BYS by Gangstar, Bust Your Shit, and then Where You Come From, man, and then Angel by Jimi Hendrix is good. When the Levee Breaks, I got that. So those are all brand new on my I just have one monster Spotify playlist with just all the new shit that I like. There's no category. I don't think there's any algorithm that's out there that could really figure out you or me. Just remember that when they start spitting this algorithm at me and you and all of us, that we are beyond. There's no algorithm. I mean, they could kind of suggest, they know I like coffee and they know I like herb. So I'm going to probably watch a Bob Marley documentary or 311 video. They got a couple good videos. Mixed Up. You can't deny Mix Up by 311. Check out the YouTube. I have a YouTube channel and I'm mostly doing artistic videos out there. Unless you want to see me really, really smoke pot in Google shit, then you got to get on the Patreon. That's just where my head's at with that. But yeah, and then I'm doing another show in Roanoke, so that will be a trip. Getting out there, because going out to Long Island, it was just fucking, it's still cool out there and it's still like the country, but there's still more people. Not as many as New York. Driving in and out of New York is one of the craziest things, man. After doing that, I feel like I was a fucking fighter pilot in goddamn World War II. Dude, I had to take a piss so bad. I've been going savage on the street, just peeing on the street. I got caught, man. I'm like, dude, I'm almost 50 and I drink like 5 lattes a day. Not lattes. I never drink 5 lattes. I barely do lattes. I'll do like one French press and maybe like one French press, mean like a jug of coffee and then like one more iced coffee. And that's when I'm like, got four to the floor, like I'm pounding coffee. But on normal, I'd say one French press, like one pot of coffee a, a day. And it works for me. It keeps everything flowing. Most definitely. Sometimes too much. Um, but but I just do love some coffee. Um, and I do love doing this podcast, and I do love doing the sweet. I'm trying to fill up another nice glass chillum. Yeah, where you come from, man. This check out Capleton's verse on where you come from. He has this one line: "If your hands are clean and your heart is pure, light up the chalice." And fire and all this shit and Rasta man ever safe and secure. Oh my god, man. It is the most baddest ass rhyme. Man, these dudes, like I've seen a lot. I mean, I'm a hip hop head, dude. I'm just a b-boy. I did pop and lock for money from 1983 to 1986. I love graffiti. They were my first concerts. So I just what was I trying to say? Where you come from? Yeah, just fucking that. It's just a great. Oh, and Capleton's verse is just fucking sick. I got trying to think the Humble Pie song, Black Coffee. That was the last time I got really into a tune. Besides this one, trying to think hip hop wise, um, Run the Jewels, Ooh La La, that joint I got into. Um, yeah, I'll always like pump classic hip hop. Money Cash Hose is a great Just Blaze beat Jay-Z song that DMX is on the hook. Check out that beat. I mean, it's misogynistic and street as fuck, but it's great. Sometimes it's just mostly vibes and melodies, but sometimes I listen to shit and it's not as cool as what I thought it was like 3 years earlier, just because I just got into a zone. Like I got into a zone where I was listening to like acoustic covers of punk rock songs. Like what the fuck was that about, man? I don't know. The punk rock aesthetic I really do like, even though I wasn't like a serious punk rock kid. Aesthetically, the music, there's something like new about the sound. That's what I'll say about alternative rock, or even people slag grunge, or sometimes like all rock of 90s does run its course of being a little too cool for school, but and sometimes celebrating shit that wasn't even that cool in the begin with. Um, but you will hear sounds and see shit that you've never seen before. That's keeping originality, I think, is going to be the hardest thing to do right now because everybody has access. I really have to recommend this is like one of the best smoking apparatuses, but it is it's just called the Taster by Marley's Naturals, and they have this whole line of devices that it's all like wood and glass. I love when nature meets ingenuity. And that's the best thing about cities when there is good nature. And that's what I love about like Seattle and San Francisco, Denver. The thing about New York, you do have the parks, and I was in the park today. Like there's times where it feels like I'm in the woods. Like I could live like over there in that tree or something. And when you're in the woods, you're just covered by all this life, and you're like, whoa, it's not even has nothing to do with the outside world. It's all nature, and that's what we are. Uh, just thinking about what's on the inside, bruh. Um, there's a lot of coffee and weed on my insides. Those are two good things that smell good. There's coffee fucking everywhere. It's bigger than I was driving across Pennsylvania, and I pulled into a Starbucks, and there was no Starbucks like for like 20 minutes. And I went into this one town, and they had a Starbucks, and all they had was drive through because it was COVID, and there was like 25 cars. Like it was like going to the Rolling Stones concert, man. It was awesome. But I did yeah, getting coffee through the drive through is funny. Just like, gotta get jacked up, bro. Here, pull me up. Give me some of that juice. Gah! Driving caffeinated. Just fucking got some caffeine. Um, but I love a good iced coffee, especially when you're, baked out just with through a straw. I know it's terrible for the environment. I hope we figure out environmentally straws. Maybe we should all have our own straw. I mean, that should probably be the thing. Everybody has their own. You got one straw, and that's it. Everybody is designated one straw in their life. It's like your teeth. You can't lose them. Oh, you gotta be really shit faced to lose them. um, yeah, I've been trying to brush my teeth. I'm all about act. And I got some acting. I do have a audition coming up, and there's like extra lines, but it's a TV show I like, so I'm like, I'm gonna try to get these down. That's all act. It's just memories. You got to just memorize the shit. You got to memorize the shit so cold, 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 cold. Because all it is just saying it. And if you could do that and be cool by doing it, or just get it out with a little bit of emotional content, as Bruce Lee would say, that's the ticket. Checking out these plants. I've been doing some backyard gardening too. I'm helping out a friend backyard, and been doing some raking. I like raking for about 35 minutes. I want to rake maybe an hour, maybe break a little bit of a sweat. Because I don't want to be too regimented. And that's what I went in with this podcast. I was like, one time I was like, oh, I got to study up for the podcast. But this one I was like, yo, I'm going to just smoke hella herb and ramble. And that's what we did on this one. But I'm going to keep it. I'm going to try to figure out, what is going on in the ether. And what's going on in the ether, I think everybody's like trying to figure out their next move. They're already doing their move. Everybody's just doing their moves. And life is going on, whether it's COVID or not. That's just what's happening. And the world's like opening up. So it's gonna be pretty wild. I just don't want it to pop off again. But it feels like more and more people are getting vaccinated, and the vaccine is everywhere. Um, but I know everybody's hesitant of going back to real world. Nobody wants to work. Everybody's been on unemployment. And, I'm kind of a lazy person too, but I've been keeping the podcast up, and this doesn't feel like work. This is like pure fun, and I'm learning. And maybe I'll listen to this and be like, what the fuck was that motherfucker talking about? But we did have some, this is called the Cannabis Coffee Hour. We had some great California grown and then mixed up ground from a grinder from Jamaica. I got this wooden grinder from Jamaica. I just like things natural. And then I got this great piece, Marley's Natural is what it's called. But it's called the Taster. And I got a great small Bic. I got the mini. You know how they get the lighters? You get the little mini one. This one is blue, and it's like 99 cents at a bodega, and it fucking rocks. I like this one. This one hides in that drug pocket of your jeans. This is for pros only, dude. Dude, when you're messing with the super mini, this is either for pros, yeah, or young pyros. I'm doing some stand-up material. But when you these minis, these mini lighters, because they're super stealth. I still like to be stealth, with cannabis. I think it's on your own thing. I do think I just feel that the smell is being more normalized. I almost smell it constantly in the park, and it's not a big deal after a while. It just trips me out that I did fucking 3 nights in jail, and that's nothing compared to what a lot of people have gone through. But I still have that story, and I think it will be trippy to tell in a few years. As we grow the Cannabis Coffee Hour, we're going to go international. We're going to Amsterdam, going to Spain, going to New Orleans. We're going to San Francisco. We're going to Roanoke, Virginia. Shit's going down. And weed is coming up. And the Cannabis Coffee Hour loves you, and I love you. And I love you for listening to this podcast. Like and subscribe. Roll up. Listen to do you listen to Wiz Khalifa? Those cats, man, they put out so much material. Like Wiz Khalifa during this podcast, he has 3 songs. I would love to see his catalog. Like I would love to see the numbers. But he's got some bad shit, man. It's just like the more you do it, the better you get. And I think he really enjoys smoking weed and rapping. It is 2 really fun things to do, and they do, and it goes well together. I need to do some more weed smoking and rapping, singing, music. My guitar is in tune. I think that's the thing with guitar. You just always want to tune it. That's what's been keeping me in the game. I need to just play a little bit more, but I have been playing and been messing with the effects. I've been doing recordings and shit. So I've been learning that. But mostly, my new thing is just like not watching sweets, eating too much. Dude, my cousin gave me this like apple frosting super cake. Shout out. Yo, cousin David, thank you for the fucking Mother's Day. Shout out. Gave me a fucking cake. I ate that thing, and literally people were laughing. Like I was holding back eating it the whole night, and then it was gone the next day, and it was mostly me. And I ate a cake, and I don't even like cake, but this was a really good cake. The icing was all like caramel, apple, cinnamon icing frosting. It was like donut, and then the cake was like donut, like wet donut. And it was just like sugar soft. It was crazy. It was amazing. Thank you, cousin David. And thank you everybody listening, liking, subscribing. Hit us up, contact at Rob Cantrell. If you're a sponsor, If you're a cannabis consumer or activist or somebody that has a cannabis business, if you're a cannabis business, if you're a cannabis store, if you sell weed, get at me, dog. No, we're definitely looking for sponsors, or I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with like my favorite. I think I just need to vibe. I don't want to be on the money tip vibe. I want to be on the real vibe, and I'll give you the real. These coffee beans, it's a mixed blend. It's a great blend. It's a USDA organic. It's a bridged. I always say if a local roasted coffee, a bag anywhere, grab it. You know, if it's at a coffee shop, some weird town you into, or some hippie place, or some music venue, grab that coffee, mix it up. And usually if it's the local shit, it's going to be good. This shit is fucking fire. It's that like dark brown, earthy, like, you know, foggy ass shit. I'm getting calls coming in. I'm going to wind up the podcast. I love you people. Shout out Java Nation. Shout out Ja. Shout out Herb. Shout out Marley Natural. Shout out you. I love you. Shout out me. Like, peace.